Good morning, Facebook. It's Blabbing for Britain, and welcome to the Blabbing for Britain show. Now, unusually, today, as we settle down, I'm on my own. We're on a new channel. This is Belive.tv, and I can see people arriving. Oh, yes. I waited till I went live. So it's good morning to John.
Hello.
And it's good morning to Stephen.
Morning. How are we?
We're fine. All is well. I'm not sure whether all is well or not. Right, we're live on Facebook already. Good morning to everybody who's watching us, and I'd like to say good morning to Carinder and to Tish. Good morning, both. Can you hear me? Can you check out Facebook, John, to make sure that we're working okay?
Yep.
And
I'll do this on here. Is it on your profile?
It's on my profile page, yeah. It may be a couple of items down, but it should be there. And I know my mic's working. I've just been talking to Fraser. And thank you, Carinder. That's helpful. Okay, now Carinder's being most helpful there. And Tish is going to reboot her iPad mini. Now, you'll notice today that there are only three of us. So we are on a search for a star. Are we not, gentlemen?
Sounds a talent show.
A search for a star, or maybe we have a series of guest visitors over the coming weeks, like they've been doing on the nightly show.
Yeah.
That's gone well, hasn't it?
True. Just to explain, Peter's taking a break for a few weeks, so we do like to have four people co-hosting the show. It's a Blabbing for Britain tradition. So we're looking for a fourth host. If you want to try out, I mean, it's just we just chat about anything related to Britain for an hour. You're more than welcome to join us. The link is up above. But I suppose the first real topic of the week, I've got to really say good morning, Tish. If it's 4 a.m. and you're watching us, thank you. And Tish is almost signed in from there. But I suppose the first topic of the week, because we've got to talk about this because it's this, yesterday was an historic day. And we have a surprise visitor. I'll tell you about in a minute. Right, it's Brexit. So I'm going to go from left to right here. Stephen, your thoughts?
What a day yesterday was. A man gave another man an envelope and a letter, and there was photos of it all over the internet. I was just wondering, I was tweeting out saying, why don't they just send an email or a tweet perhaps? It's good enough for the President of the United States. But we had a bit of a set piece in Parliament where Boris and co were accused of lying during the campaign. So they were going over the history of it all. No, Nick Clegg jumped up and started screaming. Corbyn, well, I don't even know what he did. But we are where we are. And we got, and the thing is, and I also tweeted this out as well, I think on Facebook. We've triggered, as they say, Article 50. And I'm wondering what happened to Articles 1 to 49. Maybe that's a discussion for another day. But Article 50 says you've got around about 2 years, guys, unless you extend it.
Okay.
So all the doom and gloom about how long it's going to take, how we're tied to a immutable end of days scenario is the usual sort of hyperbole and rubbish we get from our politicians. But as far as the actual process goes, the Germans have already said, no, we're not going to talk about trade until you've divorced us, which isn't helpful. And Mrs. May has linked trade deals with security, which is, again, rather helpful. It's going to be fascinating if you're into this sort of political stuff over the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot of changes. I mean, they've just said that we're going to actually look at the laws, the European laws, which are actually we're actually subject to, and we're going to be taken away from being governed by Europe as far as laws are concerned, but we will be incorporating about 2,000 laws which we like. Right, now, This is a surprise because we want a balanced view about Brexit. So I'm going to go down screen and I'm going to bring a certain gent.
Oh,
You've gone.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Hey!
Yes.
What are you doing on it? I mean,
I actually changed my working day to be here.
We all
Yeah.
do. We all do, Peter.
Yeah,
Well,
but specifically because I had an appointment at 10:30 and I worked my way. Right. Okay. Are you listening? Listening. Brexit has happened. Get used to it. Now we have to become a nation together and get on with it.
yeah,
Some
but
people.
you not want to run away.
No. Listen, I come from Scotland. However, when you hear the words representing Scotland, yes, they were voted into the Scottish Parliament. That's what happened there. However, there are many people sitting back. And if it came to independence again, I think they would get beat again at this point in time. So, because there's so many people sitting there in the background watching what was happening. Okay, right, forget the Scottish side of it. Okay, wait till John finishes mine. Right, so here we go. A couple of years ago, we voted to stay in the United Kingdom, or a United Kingdom, and when we went to the vote for Brexit, we voted as a nation. Majority rule. We voted to come out. Let's get on with it. Let's make the best of a bad thing. Now, I remember when I was getting divorced, it was horrible. It was horrible. I couldn't sleep at nights and with the money to sort out and wonder how your life. And I've never felt so good. Never felt so good. So we have just to get used to it. There's going to be to and fro. But listen, Europe wants us too. They want it, but they won't admit it. And if they're seen to punish us because we dare want to come out of the club, my. Let's get on with it. And they'll be looking at us, and not only that, the French will be looking, and every other country will be looking to say, how are the British getting on? They seem to be doing rather well, actually. Maybe it's time we broke those chains. Now, that's my say for today.
Yeah. So that's from the ununited Kingdom of Scotland, is it? Talking to the United Kingdom of England and Wales, and the bit that fell off the edge, which is not
listen. when the Scottish voted to, the Scottish people voted to remain, right? I don't think they got a high amount of people out going to vote. That was the difference. And you've even got some of the Scottish National and voted for out. They voted out.
And which way did you vote, Peter?
Me, I voted Brexit.
Voted Brexit?
I voted for Brexit. Yes, I did. Yeah. But get a lot. Listen, God made us an island.
I'm so excited by what happened yesterday. I went out for the day.
Is that right? Well, you see, because you voted.
I'll look after number one and I'll go networking instead.
Yeah, because you voted the other way, so that's why you were beaten. You were one of those who got beat. You were on the ropes, taking those punches every day, and then you decided I can't take it anymore, and you got out the ring and walked away. Agreed? You couldn't.
Go, John.
You've just got to admit you got beaten in the vote.
You know, the ununited Kingdom of Scotland can do what it wants, can't it? Under their cranky look-alike leader. Yes.
No, not at all. It's United Kingdom. I mean, some people are absolutely fed up of our First Minister. You look at the posts, and you will see some people every time. Even my partner voted for independence of Scotland. My partner, and now even she is fed up or going about it all the time. So it is divided up here. don't believe everything that you hear up here, because there are many people do not want another, especially up in northeast of Scotland, Peterhead area, where the fishermen, they're saying, you want us to come out of United Kingdom in order to go back into someone else who's going to control our fish again, our fisheries policy, because they've had enough of their fishery policy. They want to fish in their own waters now.
What are the young fishermen going to do differently, Peter, or be allowed to do differently once we've told the EU to go away? How is the fishery?
Well, the British government will have to make plans and that, but I think they're going to be allowed to be more free. But not only that, you see, they get their quotas in this area, and then the Spanish come over and take fish from the area. And we've got good fishing grounds, so all the European Union people can come over and fish in our waters.
So does that change?
That will probably change, because they'll say to the Europeans, this is our water, thank you very much, you're not allowed to fish here. Now, when Iceland tried it before, there was the Atlantic fish wars. They used to come down into our area, or we would go into theirs, and they protected their own territory. So the fishermen would get their own fishing area back so if they've used their quota, then the Spanish come over, all the Spanish coming over, and whatever nation's taking over fish.
Scots would back if the fisheries came under the Scottish Parliament, which is what Legs 11 wants.
Yes.
You would ban the Spanish from fishing Scottish waters.
I don't know that. Again, that you have to look at that. But if Scotland went on their own, right, it would be back to the good old Europe telling them what to do in their waters, because they would try and get into Europe as quick as they can, and they would say, "Hey, fishermen of Peterhead, we can't tell you what to do now. Europe's going to tell you what to do now," and that's why up in the northeast of Scotland, they are really anti. The fishermen they're mostly conservative people, you know? Conservative, I would say.
Do you know if those areas voted for Brexit? Is there sort of...
Oh yeah, if you go up to Peterhead, Fraserburgh, the only big fishing areas in, because you've got to remember, when the quotas come in, the fishing industry was decimated up here because they sell their boats, that they sell off their industry, and families that ended up, a lot of the trawlermen ended up in the North Sea, floating around the North Sea on supply boats and also fire safety boats. And all they do is sit for 28 days, and all they do is go around an oil rig for 28 days in a boat, yeah, in case anything happens. So that's where a lot of them went, but even that's gone now. But as I say, the fishermen want to fish in their own grounds with their own rules, and that's why they are basically conservative British.
How will it affect Mousey Man, i.e. Aberkill, being out of the European Union?
Well, it's actually, it won't affect me. It'll affect my suppliers, because they would have to deal with legislation both in Europe and United Kingdom, because they would have to have one for the United Kingdom and Europe. But they would probably do maybe a European. But you've got to remember, a lot of the stuff that they actually learn in my industry is to a British standard. And then there's a European standard, but a lot of it, Britain is the leader in it, okay? But personally, I will buy my stuff in Britain, and it'll be used in Britain. A couple of years ago, Brussels said we're taking all poisons off the market, believe it or not. They just said it's coming off, and we then had to use our MSPs, our MPs, to fight on our behalf, and we actually won. We were able to keep our rodenticides. Otherwise, the country would be overrun with rodents and mice, because they were trying to pull that back. So the Mousey Man, it hasn't really affected me, even in Aberdeen, because my business is growing. My business is growing, and I'm one of those that does all industries.
It would appear that when we leave Europe, the regulations, European regulations,
Yes.
you'll just go away, or they'll be incorporated within British law. But if they're already in British law, they're just
but before we got involved with Europe as pest controllers, we had our own regulations anyway. We had the United Kingdom regulations.
And that's the first glitch after quarter of an hour.
He's silent. Thank God. I mean, oh dear.
Was that Peter silent? Because I couldn't hear him either. I thought it might be me.
Oh, no. He's definitely silent.
Oh, no.
He's
Can you
back.
hear me?
He's back.
Oh, I've got to keep you lefties in order.
Oh, here we go.
I live in probably the most rightist place you could find, Solihull, you know.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah.
Not all of it, John.
Sorry?
Not all of it.
Well, it used to be that Chelmsley Wood was a really strong Labour hand.
Yes, yeah.
Chelmsley Wood, I have to tell you now, is a mix of Green and UKIP. They don't even have a Labour councillor now.
That's like 20 years ago that I was involved with them. But bloody hell, that's incredible.
But if you went to Chelmsley Wood today, if you last sort of went there 20 years ago, you just would not recognise it because the investment has been out of this world. And a lot of it has been European money.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to miss that European money.
They call it deprived areas. Or as we
all the best schools in terms of buildings are in Chelmsley Wood now.
Bloody hell.
But we shouldn't have to live on subsidies from somewhere else. Let's just get our own money. Do it without
there's a bit of a history with Chelmsley Wood.
Yeah, we're not historians, mate.
This estate on the edge of the city. They built it with all the tenants that wouldn't pay their bills, etc. And 2 years later, the Boundary Commission moved it from Birmingham to Solihull. So Solihull inherited, and this isn't a joke, this is serious, inherited a lot of bad tenants from Birmingham City Council. But now, it's not like it used to be at all.
No. But we live in interesting times, and we've got to pull it. What I am fed up of, this is what I'm fed up of, the constant sniping about the past. It's done. It's the future now. Good day, David. It's the future. It's what we do from now on. No point kept going back, because that's all you see. What about getting some good news stories of what they've done? Because I thought we were going to be falling on the edge of a cliff with the military system. What's happening?
About good news stories.
Yes.
It's the Scots that keep bringing us all this bad stuff, isn't it? You know, oh, we want to leave, blah, blah, blah. We're going to leave. We want control of...
I'm going to come in here and referee for a moment. Stephen can take a breather.
I knew that, Stephen. He knows that.
Not this Scotsman.
Our ability to wind each other up is legend. And
Not
what
this
keeps us
Scotsman. I'm British.
We're all British. I'm just going to try and change the screen and see if we can all hear each other. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, fine, no problem.
Right, okay. My apologies earlier, Peter. I did inadvertently cut you out. I was changing screens.
That's okay.
I don't know what you were saying, so yeah. Right, okay. So I think we've done Brexit, we've done Scottish independence, and we've done Solihull and Birmingham. So let's change the tone a little bit and talk about a great British event, because we are Blabbing for Britain. And this weekend sees the Grand National. Are we looking forward to it? Are we betting people? Are we horsey people? Are we at least bit interested in the Grand National, this great British institution?
I have been once. The company I worked for in 1997 took loads of people there, and we all got thrown out and couldn't get our cars out the car park because it was the year of the IRA bomb scare.
Right. There have been two threats so far to this year's Grand National weekend, which they're taking very seriously. So security is going to be very high over the weekend. But I'm just going to Peter, this is the beauty of this. I can take Peter off while he's taking the phone call. and bring Stephen back.
Stephen.
No, I'm happy to see Peter here this morning. My search for star themes gone out the window. Yeah, I mean, the Grand National is a great British tradition, and it is something that we should celebrate. I mean, we all know Red Rum and 3 victories, and there's the number of heroic stories. Bob Champion, all come out of the one horse race, and it's just like the boat races. Right, okay, so that's the Grand National done, so I'll take that topic off, and I'm going to bring Peter back for this one, because this is, I think, as far as the health of the country is concerned, this is important. I'll just explain what it is first. From the Department of Health today, they have given, until 2020, the cake and chocolate manufacturers have got to reduce the sugar content of cakes and chocolate by 20% by 2020. Now, I'm going to bring Peter back on this one, and I welcome your thoughts as to, is this a good idea? Should we be actually ensuring that people eat less sugar?
Hello. He's back. He's back.
Okay, I'm back.
Have either of you seen the Facebook video going around of some geezer boiling up a can of Diet Coke and a can of ordinary Coke?
Yeah.
The Diet Coke evaporates to nothing, and the sugar, the gloppy sugar, just it's black sugar at the end of it. It's horrific to see. So can we reformulate sugar, cakes and chocolates? I'm sure they can. Is it going to make any difference whatsoever? Yeah, I think it actually might do. It might do. Will they do the same for bread and for soup, packet soup, and or tins of soup, and everything else has got sugar in? Who knows? Is that the next step?
Mm-hmm. Well, as a diabetic, I can say, right? Do you know when people take it serious about their sugar content?
You've just gone deaf. I've just lost his voice. Have you, John?
Well, we've both gone deaf then. No, I can't hear the bugger. Yeah.
Just as you started there, Peter, going into the great refrain, you've gone now.
Peter, we've lost your sound.
Huh?
Okay, now it might, judging by the comments in Belive over the last couple of days, it might not be you. So if you can go out, if you can refresh, and I'll bring you back in. Yeah, I think we do need guidance on health, and this isn't. I mean, when they do things like this, it's not aimed at it's aimed at certain sections of the public. Those who buy lots of chocolate and cake and crisps and what have you. I mean, for most of us, those would be treats, not a daily staple. Right, Peter, can you? I can't actually know whether I can hear. I'm going to bring him back and hope they can talk.
Hello? Right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, okay, right, okay. How's the position? Nobody really takes it serious until it's too late, as I have found out to my cost. Being a diabetic now, I look at my sugar content more than anything else. And one of the problems we've got in the industry, in food industry, is they need their sugar to hook people into their food, right? And when you go and look at, I look at the sugar levels in bread. I mean, one of the bread I know, carbohydrates, which is slow releasing sugar, really, and 1.6 sugar content. What's the sugar that goes straight into your system? Now, if you start looking at food content as you go around the shops, like the Aldi, Tesco's, they're all very well. They really show you the sugar level now, quite bold now, showing you the red, the green, and the amber. And it's something I really look at now, and it's made a difference to me. But what we need to do is encourage the children in the schools to learn about it. I don't know how you do it. Maybe use a cartoon of some sort to go in there and encourage them to eat less sugar by pointing out the stuff, and maybe get those cartoon characters the same cartoon characters. They put on things like Ribena and all that sort of stuff. But get those cartoon characters onto the good loaf, onto the good foods that would be better for them, and package it in a way that the kids want to get it and eat it. And I think that would maybe a way to help in the early days to cut back on the sugar content.
Or have they got to take the cigarette smoking approach and every cereal has a plain packet and a health warning?
Yeah. But it's
probably try it somewhere, John, or pilot anything, won't they, to try and find out if it works.
But the problem is you go into a superstore and they're very brightly lit, and it's all about colour. Colour's quite a fascinating thing, and those colours attract people to them. But we need high profile people in life that can encourage people to eat less sugar and promote them eating less sugar. It doesn't have to be a diet, like say, for instance, Diet Coke. It doesn't have to be Diet Coke, because people argue what's in Diet Coke's not good for you either. It could be a reduction in sugar to a decent level. I remember when I once lost weight, quite a lot of weight. I used to be 15.5 stone at one point. And when I went to the slimming club, and the woman actually got bags of sugar that represented my weight that I'd lost in sugar bags. And it was quite horrifying to see that. But I think it's down to education early day, and to be and get those kids liking those stuff early, and that involves the parents as well, and because one of the problems is with diet drinks or diet food type stuff, it's too expensive. It's very expensive. And I used to go, like, to get a yogurt, you look at low-fat yogurts, for instance, some of them are laden with sugar, maybe low-fat, but it's sugar. And I remember one called, I've forgotten the name of it, so I can't remember it. And it was a yogurt that I loved, but they obviously pulled it off the market because many people weren't buying it, but it was sugar-free. So when I go around the shops, I look for sugar-free, no added sugar. There are out there, but it's a tiny minority of packets compared to the rest of the shop. So one day, hopefully, we'll be able to turn around and say, oh, you don't eat that sugary stuff. And they become the minority. And it might cost more to buy the sugary product than it is to eat the less sugar product.
If you're taking 20% of a component of a product out, that's presumably 20% less cost for the manufacturer. So is any of that going to be passed on to the consumer?
Well, put something else in to replace it, haven't they? To make the weight up.
Yeah. The problem is with that is being a soldier at one time, I actually was put on a diet. Well, I went on a diet. And the chef was actually quite annoyed, the cook. He says, do you know how much problems that causes me by making a meal for you alone? There was a couple of fatties. To make you a meal, right? He says it's worse than catering for the whole regiment, because you have to make that one meal. And it's the same with food. They have to go and get machinery, etc., to make that one 5% of their product compared to the 95% of their product. So there are costs involved. But maybe as it slowly shifts and shifts, it could be 50-50 one day.
The topic that Stephen introduced, which was the government are saying that thou shalt reduce sugar in chocolate and cakes by 20%. Is that all cakes and chocolate, Stephen, or just create a new brand with the reduced sugar? Here he comes.
John is now in the lobby. There was nothing, I don't know, it's sort of a woolly sort of thing. You shall reduce it by 20%, or up to 20% by 2020. And we're going to talk about it. So we shall just have to see what happens. But the only thing, from my point of view, what will happen is obviously it's good health-wise for all of us to eat less sugar. But you said what will happen to the bars to keep up, and John said as well, keep up the weight. I think the bars will shrink again, as they always do. when something changes, the size of the bar, the size of the cake. Portion control is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right, and now in a total change of topic, just for a moment, and I'll bring John back in a sec. I am going to cycle everybody around. I just want to give a shout out for a piece of software which is called repurpose.io, which the connection with Belive TV is simple. Annie Mura, who's a coder and a programmer, introduced me to Belive.tv back in October, and he designs software. And his latest piece of software I love. And yes, John, I've actually managed to try it out because it works on the web. Basically, the idea is that you repurpose your content. Now, at the end of this show, what I would normally do is I would download the video, edit it, and then put it up on YouTube. Now, the download and upload, and the whole thing takes about an hour. And we do that to let the world know about Blabbing for Britain and the four of us. But the repurpose.io allows you to connect Facebook with YouTube, and it will automatically transfer your live video from Facebook to your YouTube channel, and you don't need to do a thing. And all I can say is, having tried it this week, it works. And I know that after this show, I can go to the repurpose page, click one button, and instead of taking an hour, it will take seconds. So repurpose.io. There's a 14-day trial if you want to join in on that. And I suggest that you do. If you've any live videos that go out on Facebook and you want to put them on YouTube, then transfer. It could be an idea, Peter, for the Talkinator.
Yeah.
So something that I and Peter can do in our own YouTube channels, given that this goes out on the B4B page on Facebook?
That's a good question. You will be able to. You can't today because, John, have you set up a B4B page yet on Facebook? No, neither have I. Neither have I. When we set up a B4B page, we'll all four be admins, and the answer to your question then will be yes, that you'll be able to do it and repurpose it on your own YouTube channel. So in order to get access to the video automatically, then, right, okay, and Tish is showing a link to the group. And we're also going to have a Facebook page as well, an official Blabbing for Britain Facebook page. And it will have 4 photos on it. Thank goodness. Welcome, Peter. Right, now, I'm going to change the tack once again, because if you want to check out Repurpose.io, please do. 14-day free trial. And it's one of the pieces of software I will definitely buy because it's going to save me hours per week. But the next topic, which I'm interested in hearing about, it's a general topic as well as a specific topic. So I'm going to bring back John to talk about his experience with the Achievers.
Okay. For many, many years, I subscribed to a cassette that came out on a regular basis from a guy called Peter Thompson. Are any of you familiar with him?
Yeah.
He's pretty big in the, what shall I call it, the self-education world. In fact,
Yes.
This is Peter Thompson, even if he is backwards, but it is Peter Thompson. And he produced a series of cassettes called the Achiever's Edge. And the Achiever's Edge came out on a regular basis. I think it was fortnightly, and it was full of great business tips, interviews, etc. And this lasted for years. I mean, many years. There's a whole great big row of about 9 volumes of cassette boxes like this.
John, could you translate cassette for our younger audience?
That's a cassette. It went to CD when CDs came in. Okay, so it just gives you an idea of how long it's been around. And I've taken it for donkey's years for a reasonably small fee. about 3 months ago, Peter decided it was time to move it onto the net. So the Achievers Club is now on the net. And he's got a founder members group of people like myself who've been doing it, been working with him and listening to him for a long time. And we've had a couple of Zoom meetings where Peter has been the speaker. Yesterday, we had a Zoom meeting where everybody could join in. Mm-hmm. But it was controlled by Peter's secretary as to who could come live and who couldn't. So Peter was on the main screen and his secretary was across the room running on another machine there. And there were 59 people in this meeting. And the reflection that I gave Stephen about this last night was I couldn't believe, and Peter saw it as well, I couldn't believe how many people had no clue about live broadcasting because they were sitting in front of open windows and they were just black blobs, or they had so much light that they were white. And out of the 60 people or so on, there was probably only 6 or 7 people you could actually see decently. It was also interesting to see that some of the 60 people had not only muted their microphone, but muted their camera, so they appeared as just black squares. So they were in like listen only mode. So the thing I was reflecting on yesterday, it was a great meeting. It was fantastic. People could join in. We could throw our own comments in. People could put their own experiences in. And we had some really, great people in the room. But the lack of understanding of what broadcasting about and being comfortable doing it was quite amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was it.
and John, I've got to ask, does that surprise you?
Yes, it does, because of the quality of the people. And I'm not sort of bigging myself up from that, but the quality of the people is quite high. A lot of them are very, very expensive coaches, trainers,
yes.
That sort of thing. And I was amazed that they can stand there and talk to people all day long, but they can't do it over the net. They haven't got the mindset right.
Absolutely.
Do it over the net.
Because basically the people sitting in here today.
You've gone silent again. Can you hear him? No.
Right. Okay. Peter, if you can refresh and come back in. I don't know what's happening. And there you go. Just while we're talking, I'm just going to close this. For any of you interested in Belive.tv, because you just talked about a meetup, there is a Belive.tv meetup at 8 p.m. GMT today, or 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast of America. And you can go and you can chat with Jeff Adams, who's the official Belive.tv chat show host. And it would be interesting to see how many people there are camera aware. So that's this afternoon. Okay. Now, Peter was, I don't know, I'm going to go down again and try and bring Peter back.
Stephen, a question before you move on.
Yes, sure, carry on. Yeah.
Differently today, Stephen, that has allowed you to be consistently here?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you may see from behind me that I'm in the Oval Office of the House today.
No, but technology-wise, you haven't disappeared.
And the reason I'm in here is because I'm about 6 foot from the router. Virgin Media did some work apparently on Monday, which took us down all day. But the speed tests that I did, I'm not sure exactly what it's measuring, showed that if I was in my office, I was getting half the download speed that I get from where I am now. It goes back to the thing that Peter found out about hardwiring these things. So whilst I've still had 300% CPU usage during this 39 minutes, I've managed to, I think, stay connected. So for it's something I need to tell Belive guys, because it's an important. It would appear that the problems I had are down to
your wireless network.
Less than reliable Wi-Fi. It would appear.
The interesting. What colour is your Virgin Media modem? Is it
black?
It's black. Does it have the lights on the front?
Yes.
Are the plugs going in the back or inside? All the incoming power, etc., are they on the back or the side?
Oh, sorry, on the back.
On the back. So you've got the latest AC type modem then.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Yeah. The problem you've got is that runs at 1300 megabits. Your Wi-Fi device in your Mac only runs at 300 megabits. So you
I've got a 5G connection on the Mac.
A G? Well, that's even slower. That's 120. That's why I keep telling you to put a piece of cable between the two.
Sure. Let me just take a few seconds out to just put some power into this.
Okay. Right. So what was the question that Stephen left with then?
He didn't actually. To be fair, I interrupted to ask Stephen a question.
Yeah.
Back to our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, John. I just waited for John to come back. Yeah, I'm just looking through a list of topics that I put up, and we've run out of those. So we're going to have to talk about something that we didn't plan. Peter, what topic would you like to bring up?
Oh, I didn't know I was going to be on here today. So I haven't thought of anything.
Okay, Stephen.
Can you hear me? That's the question.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
So I wanted to give you, it's interesting from a streaming perspective as well. Last night I went to an event at Staffordshire University. It's run by an outfit called Marketing for Marketers, and we have a speaker. We have speakers as you'd expect at any other event. But one of the guys who runs the event live streamed the whole of the proceedings to Facebook Live. I think he was using an iPhone 7. I haven't seen the video yet. It was basically a lecture by one of the senior lecturers there, Paul Dobson, about SEO and things to do, things not to do. And it was really, really informative. Now, we're sort of, I'm getting a bit involved with it, and we're planning future topics. And one thing I wanted to mention was the chat bot scenario. And this was brought up at another event that I go to called Nantwich Tech Meetup, I think it's called. Nantwich Tech Meetup. All under the Meetup banner, a website, meetup.com or co.uk. And it enables people to come together at events. It's a bit like Eventbrite, but more, so to speak. But it was a fascinating event, and it's on Facebook Live. So John and Stephen, if you get a chance to look at the content from a technical perspective, and Peter, if you sort of get a chance to have a look at the information that was given out with loads of links to SEO and social media apps and setup, and they were talking about the way to set up your website and things like that, which was very, very informative. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the guys for that in good old Stoke. And we're starting on at the end of April, Stoke on Tech. So again, it's another meetup scenario where businesses who've got a technical background, technical businesses, can get together and talk about stuff. And we're going to try and get the guys, or we're going to try and talk about chat bots and the way in which, I'm pretty sure it's going to change again the way in which people do business. And for you, Peter, the scenario is something along the lines of, if somebody's got a problem with whatever you do, sorry, not with whatever you do, in your area, they wouldn't go onto your website necessarily and fill a form in, and then you contact them back and phone them and arrange and do all the stuff, and then take a credit card transaction over whatever. The idea is that they would go onto your Facebook or onto your Facebook Messenger or onto any messaging platform and say, Peter, I need help. Can you help me? And then the chat bot itself will do the initial qualification of the opportunity from your perspective. And once it's determined that there's a problem that you can actually do something about, the chatbot would hand a conversation, technically an online conversation, to you, so that you can agree the final details of a job for you. And it's getting to the stage where I am going to be applying the chatbot tech to a HR system, so that if you've got 100 employees around the country and they want to book leave, instead of logging on to their HR system, instead of having to work out how many days or finding out how many days they've got left, they can actually, in a chatbot, say, can I book off next Tuesday and Wednesday, please? And the chatbot would come back and say, Steve, you've only got 1 day's leave left. Oh dear, I'll just have Wednesday off. And then all the interpretation of that conversation gets dealt with, and the HR system says, yes, we'll get authorization from your manager, and you can then consider your leave booked. So it's just absolutely fascinating in terms of what it's going to do to business.
Great in theory for big businesses. Let me tell you, I do get work off Facebook.
It's not just for big businesses.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But let me tell you how it works for me just now. I don't know if I'm getting a lot of noise coming through.
I can hear you twice.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Still, I'm going to refresh. I don't know what's going on today. I'll refresh.
Right, so Peter's going to refresh. I'm back. And I just want to go, we're going to wait till Peter gets back because I want him to hear the next bit. But we're going to talk about chatbots for a little bit further, because they are going to change the way that we actually do business. And as I say, I'm stalling for time for Peter to come back. Peter, can you hear me? Right, okay. Now, this next bit is very interesting. It's very interesting to you and I'm going to explain why. One of the things that you've got when you run a live show is, obviously, at the moment, we can interact with Carinder and with Tish and with Sergeant TCS. And I can go back afterwards. I can say thank you to everybody and name everybody. I got Facebook booted me out yesterday because I said thank you to 25 people in a row, and it said, what you're doing, you can't do that. But I explained that I was trying to say thank you to people, and they allowed me to continue. But the big thing I saw this week was a chatbot. And this particular chatbot is tied into your Facebook posts. And you can tell it to search for a keyword of the comments in the post. If it finds the keyword, okay, and say it was B for B, everybody who types in B for B will be automatically sent a message on Messenger and open up a conversation with the host. So that after the show, you know who's interested in what you've been talking about, and you can start the marketing process. Yeah, and there's a small cost attached, but in terms of actually getting, as Peter and I know, getting email addresses out to people is not the easiest thing in the world. This chatbot could actually help do that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's at this Nantwich Tech meetup that I went to, there was an agency, a technical agency, design agency, call it what you like, called Mando.agency, based in Liverpool, but they're Microsoft developers, so to speak, and they're really quite seriously getting into chatbots. They just come back, as I say, it was a few weeks ago. They've just come back from South by Southwest in Austin, And it appears that this technology is all over East Asia. So you're talking Singapore and Japan and all those areas. But we're probably about 6 or 7 months behind. But it's just going to take off like crazy over here. And the key message I got back was that it's changing the transactional process into a conversational process, and it's going to be massive. And there's loads of tech out there to support developers doing taking this sort of activity on. And it's not just a question of watching this space. This space is actually here now. Mm-hmm. I think I don't know what engagement you've got, Peter, with your. Sorry to pick on you. I don't know what engagement you've got with your market on, should we say, Facebook or Twitter. I don't know how important a channel is to you, but my advice would be look into this interaction tech. And
I've got to say that from a pest control business, people contact me on Facebook, and then there's a ping pong of messages, and then I just say, here's my number, phone, or give me yours. Okay?
Yeah.
That's all I want for them, because I can ping pong, and I can guarantee you when it's ping pong and I don't get the work. When I get them on the phone, I get
the beauty of this technology is it's 24 hours a day.
Yeah, so but I've got a 24-hour number. Yeah.
A limitless amount of inquiries can be sort of fielded and qualified. That's that this tech is not there to deliver your service. It's there to qualify any opportunity, in sales speak, and then it'll hand off to you to have the final conversation. Absolutely. What time do you want me to come in? Once they've found out that you can deliver that sort of their requirement.
Yeah. John, so I delivered at my bed at 11:45 last night to a customer that phoned in because I've got a 24-hour answering service. They like to hear a voice in my industry. So forget that industry. But going back to what Stephen said about the chatbot for starting to collect names, and then you can message, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please click here and maybe get them into a CRM like MailChimp. If you enjoyed it, make sure you don't miss another show. Click them in. What do you think, John? You're looking a bit. What do you think?
I'm sceptical, to be honest.
Right.
I think people like to deal with people.
Yeah.
I think there's a novelty to this because we're new on live. We're still pioneers. And if you can say to people, just type in B4B and we can get in contact with you, then just out of novelty, they're going to do it. 6 months down the road, people are going to say, oh, he's only after my business. But now is the time to get involved in this and start building the list. Mm-hmm. Because it allows you, by their typing B4B in the chat, it allows you to open up a messenger, you can make friends with them just by another click if you wish, and you can start a conversation. Yeah? So
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the technology. I'm just skeptical about how people will use it and how people react to it.
The marketers could screw this up. I'll agree with you on that one. If a marketer comes on and says, type in offer to get my latest offer and I'll get back to you, then people are going to be put off pretty quickly. If, however, it's used, well, Stephen's got some thoughts on this. So I'm going to drop out for a second.
Hello?
Hello. Right. Okay, it's just to take Stephen's point. It's not about outbound marketing. It's not about promotion. It's about actual engagement with people that you find that you know. It's not designed to be a shop front or a broadcast. It's really about supporting the initial conversation between customer and supplier. John, your skepticism, I would only say that in reaction to that, Microsoft is spending billions on this, and I think that this time actually they're right. From the presentations I've seen, I think they're right to do this, and I think I tell you what, I look forward to the debate with you, John, about how this is going to actually implement or be implemented, and how it is going to make a difference. And my angle on it is always looking at the SME marketplace. I mean, the big boys will be doing it left, right, and centre for sure. But I want to find ways in which SMEs can take advantage of this stuff to put them on a level playing field. It's all
I think the advantage you have is you've seen some of it, and Stephen's seen some of it. The other two of us, by the looks of things, haven't yet. So
maybe we should do a show about it. I mean, I think it's that maybe I'll do a show about it and invite you in, John, to sort of just talk it through, because I've seen the future, John.
I saw something yesterday at the networking that I went to that I think will make a big difference to websites. Guy's got some technology that picks up that your mouse is heading away from your basket and heading to your address line, and gives you the ability to create a pop-up to distract them away from going somewhere else. So cart abandonment, yeah?
Big issue, that.
Cart abandonment, my cursor's heading for the top, it picks up the movement and then gives you the opportunity to say, order today, get this free gift, or have we done something wrong, etc. And I was quite impressed with that.
Yeah.
I'm getting that. Kevin's doing a site for me now, and when you go away from the page, there's a pop-up. Because remember, he said, what do you want from your website? A phone call. That's what I want. On the phone. I want you to pick up the phone. I don't want emails. I don't want that. I want a phone picker.
But your pop-up could have your phone number in.
Well, it does. That's exactly what's happening. Pop-up, have you phoned us yet? Telephone number.
Created because you've moved away from the buy now button to the top of the screen, or you're leaving the website by going to the top of the screen.
Yeah, there's no buy nows there. All I want is a phone call. People are quite amazed, but all I want from my website is a phone call.
Horses for courses. Each business is different in its approach.
Absolutely. Yeah. But
he's gone.
It's gone again.
Right. Okay, we've not done so bad. I mean, this is
very well the whole hour.
Yeah, we're far better than last week. So our thanks to Belive TV, and thank you to everyone who's watching. And in a break with tradition, we're actually going to do a call to action. Do you have a call to action, guys, for your business, or no? All right, for next week's show, your mission, should you wish to accept it, is to put together a short call to action, which we'll put at the end of the show, and then we'll turn it into a separate video.
Are we packing up now, then, Stephen?
No, we're not packing up. I'm just one eye on the clock, and where that Peter set an hour aside and Stephen set an hour aside. But no, we don't.
I wanted to talk about Birmingham getting the reputation of terrorism city.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay.
Because yesterday, on television, live, the police took down a car and loads of people piled out in plain clothes but with police hats on, carrying guns in broad daylight on the main street in a district called Allen Rock of Birmingham. And it took at least 20 people to take down 2 people in a Ford Fiesta. And you saw them pulled out the car, bundled on the floor, and to my mind, mistreated, even if they are guilty. I wonder if we're becoming America.
I don't know, John. I mean, it's you keep on giving us these examples. You said, didn't you say that a car was hijacked last week down the road from where you are?
Yes, we had a car hijacking. A guy who lives, we have a local group called the Alton Neighbourhood near me, and then you can see the groups around you. And in the next group to us is Lyndon, and he took delivery of his car on Monday. This is last week, on Monday, and on Thursday it was stolen with a remote blipper and taken.
Yeah.
So, we're getting lots of that. I think you've heard me talk about Pathway to Grow, which is the organisation around here that runs several different meetings, Chutney and Chat, etc. The guy that runs the Chutney and Chat came out of his house on Saturday morning to see his car wasn't on the drive anymore. Now, he had full video, and you can actually see the guy. He's got a tree and a bit of pathway to the side of the tree, walk between the tree and the pathway, and take a blipper out of his pocket and blip his car.
What's the manufacturer?
It's an Audi A5, actually. But there's a little device which you can get from the US for $29, which you can, has a tiny little aerial and just a little board, and you can leave that in the hedge, and that will record the key presses. Now, in England, and I think pretty much in Europe, we have what's called rolling identities. So what happens is it rolls around a series of different codes so that it's not the same code twice in a row. But of course, this little machine, you leave it in the hedge, you leave it there for a couple of days, it records the different, it rolls around about 10 codes apparently. You leave it there long enough that all 10 codes have been recorded. You program those 10 codes into a blipper and you just keep pressing until it opens.
You need to get started on it. Yeah, talk to us about that.
Well, go on.
Go on, what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think.
Going back to the police about the getting treated to some people. If it's terrorists, right? Listen, the way we're going, I think every policeman should have a sidearm. People laughed when I said that, but these police are vulnerable now. It can happen in any city. It can happen in my city, right? Now the problem is they've got to be heavy-handed if they believe it's an act of terrorism going to be taken. Could be a bomb in a car. They could blow up their car, so they've got to really act appropriate and take them down. The trouble is, I've seen all these videos. People will not listen to a policeman. Get out the car, put your hands up, and they don't do it. If a policeman comes up and says, listen, get out the car, come on.
You've gone again, Pete.
Right, I'm going to have to go, so... Stephen's going to...
Right, okay, Stephen,
here he comes. Here he comes.
Okay, I'm back. Peter, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
We've had an hour and 5 minutes of for me anyway, uninterrupted broadcast, so I'm dead chuffed about that. And
good progress.
Yeah,
John, your tech report.
My tech report. Wow.
On your system.
Just normal.
Okay.
I've always been connected by wire, and I've never ever had any real problems. And okay, I still think that to get.
Right, I'm going to try.
Right. I'm going to have to say tatty bye. So I'll see you.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Cheers, Stephen. And Peter, do you have sound?
Yes, I hear you. Okay.
And we can hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And we have, I noticed earlier, Ricki Prime popped into the lobby and then popped out again. He's now written a very long comment, which I'll attempt to read. Very interesting show here. I'm just realizing that Belive needs a link in the status to allow for people to join the conversation. When you have a link in the status in FB, the algorithm automatically makes that this exact post. Ah, right. Okay. Now that's a good pointer. I did post the link to join us in the post header, and Ricky's just saying that if we do that, if you put a link in a post, then it gets a smaller audience. So thank you for that, Ricki. I will find a way around it next week. Next week we should be on the Blabbing for Britain page. We haven't yet decided whether John's going to create it or I'm going to create it, but there will be a Blabbing for Britain page. Thank you, Ricki. That's good to know. Thank you. Right, so for next week, a Blabbing for Britain page.
I think we can't hear you again.
Right.
I can hear you.
No, we can hear you now.
Right.
I'm sick of this. We can hear you.
I'm sick of it. Right. Okay. Could you maybe explain that a bit slower to me, what the guy Ricki just said, please?
Right, Ricki is gonna. He knows the answer, and as he's around, perhaps you could join us on the show next week, Ricki, for a short while and explain everything. But basically, what he's saying is that if you do a post and you post a link in the header, which is what I did, then Facebook ensures that you do not get viewed as much as you would if you hadn't put the link in.
Wow.
And that's good to know.
Well, I posted just the link in a separate post and then reposted that to several places.
Yeah, I think so. We've got to keep the link out of the live post. That's basically. But Ricki has an answer.
Just
right,
comment the link to the top post.
Top post.
Let's comment the link and pin to the top post. Okay. Right. Okay. We'll do. Right. Okay. Got it.
Okay. So he's saying comment on your own post and you pin it to the post.
Exactly so. Exactly so. So that's why we need to have our Blabbing for Britain business page with 4 of us as admins, and then we can post to there and post a link, and we won't get penalised. Because next week when we go from the Blabbing for Britain page, we're going to need all the audience we can get, and Ricki's just confirming that we've understood him, which is good. Brilliant, Ricki. Thank you. Much appreciate it.
Are you going to be with us next week, Peter?
Okay, and
can't hear you again.
And Ricki, please post your favour. We're more than willing to help because you've just helped us. So no worries on that score.
Gonna try something.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're back. You are back, and
it's
we
like
can
your
hear
microphone
you.
Got an issue. Gone again.
It's coming and going.
I'm wondering if he's got both microphones on and they're interfering with each other.
I don't know. I've heard of other shows where the sound has been a problem partway through, and
but it's just happening too regularly.
Yeah. They've put in a request so that you can actually change your camera and your sound during the broadcast, so that you drop out effectively. And it's just you and I on screen now, so that's good. And Ricki, we're just going to hang on and wait for your favour, sir, as we come to the end of the broadcast. If you can tell. Right. Okay. And we're going to bring Peter back. Hello, Peter.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Right. Okay. So what I was using was a plugged-in USB microphone. So I'm now using the camera microphone. How's that? Is that better now?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's fine. Well, that's the end of that then.
Now, Peter.
Yeah.
There are 2 types of USB socket. One which supplies power and one which is just a USB. And it could be that your microphone needs to be plugged into one that supplies power.
That supplies power?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
So if you've got more than one USB socket, try it in another socket is what I'm saying to you.
How will I know if it supplies power or not?
Pass, because I don't know what machine you've got. So
okay, so am I sounding okay with this microphone?
You sound great.
Okay, well that's it. I'm staying on here at the moment. Right, so
Ricki was Ricki was going to get Peter to Stephen to do something.
Yeah,
right,
basically the last section where we actually showed the messages on screen. I'm going to edit that with Ricki's ideas, and we're going to turn that into a short clip. We're going to name Ricki in the clip, and he's going to push it. We're going to push it, which is good advertising, not just for the problem that people are having, but also good advertising for Blabbing for Britain too, as we are on Blabbing for Britain, episode 70. Unbelievably. So I'll just get that in as well. So what I'll do is I'll edit that bit so it's actually showing it on the screen and we're explaining it, and then put it out as a clip. Thank you for that, Ricki. Appreciate it very much so. Right. Okay.
Are we still live, by the way?
Oh yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you should show bottom. You should show bottom right hand corner.
Yes, I'm down here. So it's still just to let you know, the Talking Hater is on Monday. It's 7 o'clock, and this week I've got a lady who's left the oil industry, and she's became. She really loves dogs, so she's turned her passion into a business where she's a dog walker, but she's also now qualified as a dog groomer, and also I think she's a psychologist. She's done some sort of degree with dogs. So it's just going to see that contrast from working in an accounts department in the oil industry to getting out there and getting a bit of fresh air. And it's amazing how many people have left the oil and they've said to me, I wish I'd done it years ago. So we'll hear about her journey next week, 7 o'clock on Friday, Monday night.
What are you going to do that through? Are you going to do that through?
It's going to be Belive TV. I'm afraid I've gave up with the other one. And it's going to be Belive TV this week. 2 of us on the channel. I have applied for.
I've tried to get on Smile Time this week. All I've got is a blank screen.
Yeah.
So.
We managed on Tuesday afternoon. David, Vaughan, and I did the video streaming advice show.
I tried to watch that from within Smile Time. I could not get on.
Right. Okay. It went as far as we got 3 people on screen. But the thing is that they are suffering problems, and I don't know what they are. They're not being public about it, so it's very difficult to actually move it forward. But we're keeping in touch. The video streaming show will stay there, but Blabbing for Britain is now firmly established on BeLive.tv talk show. So shout out to BeLive TV.
Gentlemen, I'll say goodbye. Thank you very much for your time, and I will see you in the very near future. I'll see you 8 o'clock tonight, maybe. Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care, Peter.
Yeah, bye-bye, Pete.
Right, and then there were 2.
The original 2.
The original 2. Right. Do you want to do the outro, sir?
Yes. Well, it's goodbye from both of us, so it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him, and I've got to do diagonal because that's how he looks to me. He's up there in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that you can't actually see what the screen looks like.
And that is the only thing I don't like about BeLive is I cannot see what's actually happening.
You can guess though, but it doesn't show you what the different screen layouts that are actually happening and where you are on the screen, and but that's coming.
A pop over that they could display that in.
Yeah, I mean the things that are coming, which I'm looking forward to, are we can brand it. We can it's going to be on white label, so the BeLive TV sticker comes off and our own sticker goes on, and we can screen share too. So we have that to look forward to. So from John and I, and from Stephen, and from Peter, it's bye, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Episode 71. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. And the other thing is,